Okay, so anyhow, just some reminder to students that after I deleted the recordings, I will not send back to anyone. Okay, so generally, I feel that the idea of this is number one. Okay, there's some students who say after deleted they want to buy the recordings from me. I don't sell to students who actually join. The only group of students that I sell the recordings is for those who actually join late, not those existing students who didn't watch the recording and then want to buy the kind I won't sell back. You have to understand that. Okay, so if let's say a student joined in October, for example, then they say you want to buy September one, that one I can accept. The reason is because he joined late, not that you are already assisting in the class and your parents paid for the fees and then you didn't watch the recording because of any reasons. I don't accept the reason that you're sitting for trial. To me, trial is nothing. Your road is still very long. You don't see that trial is really nothing. Okay, I don't understand why you put so much of attention in trial. So if you get A plus in trial, but you get a C in real SPM, does it mean anything to you? It doesn't. Okay, so don't be blinded by the fact that trial is so important. Even if you screw up in your trial, it doesn't mean that you can't score in SPM. There's so many real life examples that I've seen before. Okay, I've been teaching for 12, 13 years already today. Okay, so I can tell you that trial really means nothing. It has no weight. You score well in trial, you can screw up in real SPM. You score badly in trial, you can still have the chance to come back. Okay, so don't give me the excuse where you need to sit for SPM trial. That's why you can't watch the recording. It's just 2 hours of the week, 2 hours. Okay, and if you can't handle time properly at your level, I can't imagine when you go up to A levels, SPPM or further. Okay, so time management is important and it starts young right now. Okay, so that's why I say the best is still to join live. Like what you all are doing right now. When you join live, you don't have to watch back the recording, isn't it? You just have to do the exercises, that's all. I think it's easier. Okay, but anyhow, we shall start the discussion. There's still students coming in. All right, so we'll talk about this today. Okay, so today we'll talk about Form 4 Chapter 9, which is also a chapter that a lot of students feel that it's difficult, but I can make it very easy for you. So I hope you have already got the notes from the Google Classroom, because there are something that we have to write down later on, especially on the mind map. There are a few mind maps that are quite important that you need to know. So without further ado, let us just start. Okay, so when we talk about Chapter 9, we are dealing with the human digestive system. Okay, so in Bahasa Melayu is Sistem Pencernaan. Now, I can say that this chapter only have 5 groups of questions that are possibly being asked. Okay, so if you look at the expected questions, there are 5 types of questions. They either can ask you on digestion itself, or they can ask you on absorption, assimilation, okay, defecation. This is rather, I would say, not very frequently asked, but it can be asked. I've seen before in essay. And last but not least is regarding balanced diet. So these are the only 5 types of questions that you will see for Form 4 Chapter 9. Okay, so for every chapter, I will try to analyze with you what are the important things that I think students need to know, because actually it's really not as difficult as you're thinking. All right, so let's start with the very beginning stuff. As usual, we're going to start with the labeling first. Am I right? Okay, let me just admit the student. Hold on, there's some students that are still outside. Okay, so we will start with the labeling of the human digestive system. So last week we talked about the respiratory system. So today we talk about the human digestive system. So it all starts in the mouth. Am I right? So the mouth, in a better word, we call it as the oral cavity. So I didn't draw the arrow. I just draw the arrow here. You can draw an arrow for yourself. We're talking about this place over here. This is the oral cavity, rongga mulut. Okay. Then of course we have the salivary glands or the glandular leo. So these are all the salivary glands. Okay. You can use another color. This one. Okay. This one. These are all the salivary glands. Okay. Later, all these will be important structures that we talk about. Next, after your mouth, of course, you will reach your pharynx and all that, but that one we have already talked about last week, so I won't go through it again for pharynx and all that. So we straight away go to the esophagus, which is a food pipe. So this is the esophagus. All right, so this is the esophagus. And after the esophagus, we will go to the stomach, as you can see. This is something very simple. This is the stomach. All right, so this is the stomach. Okay, so after you go to the stomach, you will reach a C-shaped part of the intestine. You have to be very careful. This C-shaped part of the intestine is the duodenum. Okay, so there are students coming in. Okay, now duodenum is only this small part of the intestine. Okay, so don't get confused. From the stomach, it comes out this C-shape, maybe until here. From here until here is the duodenum. It's a very, very short part of the small intestine actually. So the duodenum is actually this part. All right. Now the pancreas basically is these leaf-like structures that lies below and behind the stomach. So this will be our pancreas. Okay, and after this, we will look after the duodenum. Then this whole lots of intestine bulk here, we just call them as the ileum. All right. So supposedly, small intestine should have 3 parts. So we have the duodenum, jejunum, and the ileum. But jejunum is not in your syllabus. So at your level, it's very simple. The front part is the duodenum, and the rest will be the ileum. Okay. So after that, the ileum will end up in this large intestine that we now prefer to call them as the colon. So colon is this structure over here. Okay. So please don't make careless mistake because your colon is always outside. Your small intestine is always in the middle. Okay. So please don't make this kind of simple mistake. So the colon will be this outer portion. Okay. So the front part of your colon, you will see the appendix. So this is the appendix. Okay. But it's not really, really important in your syllabus. Okay, so after the colon, you will reach a pouch to store the feces. So rectum is this structure over here. So this is your rectum, where you actually store the feces. So after the rectum, you will go to the anus, which is dubur in Bahasa Melayu. So this is the anus, all right? Okay, so this is where the digestive system is really, really important, I believe. Okay, then we talk about some accessory organ. Actually, pancreas is an accessory organ. Another accessory organ that is important is the liver. So liver is the biggest internal organ in the body. So this is the liver, right? This is the liver. And of course, we have the gallbladder as well. Okay, the gallbladder is this structure over here. This is the gallbladder. Okay. So other structures like, for example, the bile duct. Bile duct is this tube that comes out from the gallbladder, connects to the duodenum. So you need to focus in this picture is that if you look at the duodenum, there are 2 structures that connect to it. One is the bile duct, okay, which is this structure over here. If you want to draw this structure, okay. So you can see that the bile duct, okay, and also the pancreatic duct actually connect to the duodenum. So the duodenum has opening to both the pundi hempedu as well as the pancreas. Okay, so this gallbladder is written together. Okay, so you have to understand that this will be a simple structure question, and I hope that at your level right now, you should be able to do it. Don't tell me you can't label these structures. So I don't think this is any issue. Okay, this is 2 marks question in structure normally for labeling. Okay, so any questions? Can I move on to the next part? Anything? I hope nothing. Okay, should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so go on to the next part. So the next part, we look at digestion first. So importantly, you need to understand that digestion can be divided into two types: physical digestion and also chemical digestion. So what's the meaning of physical digestion? Physical means what you study in physics. What you study in physics is force and motion. So kalau dia memerlukan tenaga, okay, to sort of like break down the food, that is called physical digestion. So we talk about physical digestion. Importantly, is you need to understand that we are trying to break the food mechanically. Okay, so the word here is basically mechanically. Maksudnya you perlukan tenaga. You need to use energy. All right. So you are basically breaking the food using energy into smaller pieces. So the next question is always, when you are answering structured or essay question, you always have to understand why you need to do that. So why do you need to break the food down into smaller pieces? In biology, whatever small, is trying to increase your total surface area for enzymatic reaction. Okay, faham ke? So it's untuk menambahkan jumlah luas permukaan untuk tingkatkan enzim. When we talk about physical digestion, all right, the example will be like chewing, peristalsis. Strictly speaking, peristalsis is not really a physical digestion, but it's in your syllabus. So just to make things easy, I will include that as well. But you just have to remember, your chewing, pengunyaan, this is the basic physical digestion. Okay, so I have seen this come out in simple structured question before, so just be aware of this. The next thing is we talk about chemical digestion. This is what I will emphasize on deeply later. So we will talk about enzymes. Chemical digestion means we use enzyme to break the food down. So over here, I got a KBAC box for you, in which this is a type of question that I have seen before in exam, especially in the old syllabus. In the new syllabus, it's not really frequently asked, but I've seen before. Basically, it's regarding oral ulcer. Okay, ulcer mulut lah. Okay, oral ulcer basically is your ulcer mulut. Okay, so when they ask you about oral ulcer, how does it affect digestion? So what are they trying to tell you is they are trying to make you to relate. Okay, make you to relate to your physical digestion. Because all of us have ulcer in the mouth before, am I right? So when you have ulcer, what happens is that you will feel pain when you chew food. So you don't chew the food that much. That's why these mechanisms will be affected. Maksudnya kalau ada ulcer mulut, you should say, so you come to this part. Maksudnya you say what? Your pencernaan physical akan terjejas. Alright? So pengunyahan akan menjadi sakit, for example. Then you say lah, makanan tidak dapat dipecahkan secara mechanical kepada butiran kecil, jumlah luas permukaan akan you will say the tidak dapat ditambahkan or something like that. Okay, so it will be negative voice. So you use this formula, but everything becomes negative. Okay, so at the end of the day, it affects your chemical digestion because the surface area is not increased. Okay, so this is a type of KBAC question that I've seen before. Another one, like Tara said, xerostomia. Xerostomia is a little bit different. Xerostomia means dry mouth. Okay, zero means dry, like what we learned in the plants, xerophytes. Stomia means mouth. So xerostomia is dry mouth. It has to do with the lack of saliva secretion. So that can affect both your physical as well as your chemical digestion. But I will think this one will affect your chemical digestion more because you have reduced in saliva production, which is where your salivary amylase normally is. Okay, so just be careful of this KBAC question. That is really very long time I've not seen before. Okay. So now, we will actually have a look more at the digestion mind map, which I believe is in your notes as well. But this digestion mind map, I will focus mostly on chemical digestion. This is mostly regarding chemical digestion, which is important for us to know, okay, about the enzymes. So over here, there's actually, I give you the algorithm. I think I didn't give you the algorithm. Okay, so here, I want you to remember the algorithm. So there's a Dr. Steven algorithm over here, okay, that student need to understand. Okay. Digestion is a very, very common question in exam. Very common. Okay, so it can come out in structured or essay. So the way they come out is different. In structured, normally it will be a very straightforward question. For example, they ask you to label the stomach and then they ask you what happens in the stomach. So that's very, very easy. But in essay, normally they'll give you a food. They give you a food, for example, steamed chicken, ayam kukus. Describe the way how it's being digested. So that's something I will discuss with you in a while. But normally when we talk about digestion, you need to know two things. Number one is you have to know the equation. Okay, you have to know the equation. All right. And number two, you need to know the sentence. That means how you want to translate the equation into sentence. And how do we do it? Normally you will use the formula, blah, 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 hydrolysis, blah, 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 into blah, blah, blah. So this is the algorithm, okay, in which over here, this is your name of the enzyme. Here is the substrate, and here is the product, okay? And kalau you are using bahasa Melayu, you just have to say what enzyme? Menghidrolysiskan what kepada what. So same, just that instead of hydrolysis in bahasa Melayu is menghidrolysiskan what kepada what. Okay, so this is very important. I don't want to see other word like, for example, break down, digest. No, the only word that we can accept is hydrolysis, and this is very strict in exam. Okay, sangat strict. So for bahasa Melayu juga, jangan guna perkataan macam menguraikan, memecahkan. No, the word is menghidrolysiskan, which emphasizes that in digestion process you must add water. You must add water to break the thing. Maksudnya kalau you masih ingat in chapter 4 we learn about condensasi, which is condensation. So this is the opposite. You need to add water to break the food down. Okay, so this is basically the algorithm that students must know. You must know the equation. You must know the hydrolysis sentence. Okay. So now, digestion happens in four sites. The first site where it happens is actually the mouth, mulut. So it's very simple. The mouth is the first place, so it only has one enzyme. So the name of the enzyme, okay, it's all coming from the saliva, which is in the salivary gland. So it's important for you to know just how we have relabeled it, the salivary gland. So the salivary gland will produce saliva. So inside the saliva is where you find the enzyme, which is the salivary amylase. So this is something that is, I think, is pretty straightforward because I think everyone knows that the substrate in this case will be the starch and water, okay, and your salivary amylase as the enzyme, which you break it down into maltose. Okay, so I believe in the mouth, that's the only thing that you need to know. There's nothing else. This is the only thing that you need to know. So in the mouth, all right, you have salivary glands to produce saliva, which contains salivary amylase that hydrolyzes starch into maltose. Faham? So how you want to make the sentence? I'll say it one time in bahasa Melayu. You say amylase aelio menghidrolysiskan kanji kepada maltosa. That's all. That's how you want to make it into a sentence. salivary amylase hydrolyzes starch into maltose. Like I say, you don't have to busy copy at this point. You try to understand what I say. You can always watch the recording to fill in your notes. Okay, but once you miss the recordings, okay, you don't ask the notes for me because I won't share this thing. This is confidential because all this is basically what's coming from my mind. Okay, all these are coming from my mind, so I won't send to any people, okay, for confidential reason. So this is something that you need to follow the class closely to get. So it's pretty simple in the mouth. Then we look at the second side, which is the stomach. Okay, the second side is basically the stomach ataupun perut. Now, stomach is a little bit more complicated because there are few types of questions that they can ask you. Dia boleh tanya beberapa soalan. Okay, so of course, number one is gastric gland. Later, I'll give you a picture showing you about gastric glands. Gastric gland dia sangat penting dalam peperiksaan, especially for soalan objective. Anyone has seen this question coming out before in your exam? ABC ataupun structure. Anyone has seen before? Gastric gland, cholangiogaster, pernah keluar? So this thing, if you are an A+ student, you must know. Kalau you just want to aim for B+, you don't have to know, so never mind. Because this is a very small part in the textbook, but they will ask you. It's important. Okay. So gastric gland, the function is to produce gastric juice, juice gaster. Okay, gastric juice. So the gastric juice basically got two main components. The first component, please mute your mic. Someone accidentally opened the mic. Okay. So the first thing is the hydrochloric acid, acid hydrochloric, HCl. Okay. So this hydrochloric acid has how many functions? Right in the chat box, let me know. I want to know how many functions that you know about this hydrochloric acid. 2 only. Ray. Anyone else? 4. Zhixian say got 4. Which 4 functions, Sachif? Which 4 function? 3. Okay. What are the 3? Can you please try to write down on the chat box? See whether you guys can. Remember, in my class, don't open the textbook. Textbook is useless. Okay. So some of you say it used to kill bacteria in the food. Okay, kill pathogen in the food. So what in pertaining to that, if you look at further chapter, what line of defense is that? What line of defense is that? It's the first line of defense. Okay. So Changsen also correct. It provides acidic medium. That means it's an optimum pH. Okay, and some of you just now also say it activates pepsinogen to pepsin. So these are the 3 main functions of the hydrochloric acid. So number 1, it provides optimum pH, which is the acidic pH which is the acidic pH, bracid Okay. So number 2, it kills the pathogens in the food. All right, which in this case is our barisan pertahanan pertama. If you look at our future chapter 10, no sorry, chapter 11 is considered as first line of defense. First line of defense. Okay, so barisan pertahanan pertama. Next is to activate pepsinogen into pepsin. So just one small clue to the students is that whenever in biology or medicine, you see the word nogen at the back, maksudnya dia tidak aktif. Whenever you see the word nogen at the back, maksudnya dia tidak aktif. There are few times when you see this, for example, in blood clotting, you will see the word fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is inactive. Dia kena di-convert kepada fibrin. Normally the active form is when you remove the nogen, that is the active form. Macam kalau pepsinogen, you remove the nogen, pepsin is the active form of the enzyme. Okay, so whenever you see the word nogen, maksudnya benda tu dia tidak aktif. You have to remember that. Okay, so how to make it active? You need hydrochloric acid. So it has 3 main functions in the stomach. And of course, when we talk about the enzyme, all right, your syllabus now has made it easier. They only down to one enzyme only, which is pepsin. Okay, which is pepsin. So pepsin hydrolyzes protein into polypeptide. Okay, pepsin menghidrolysiskan protein kepada polypeptida. So it's very easy. So in this page, I'm showing you both sites that has only one enzyme, but the stomach, the other enzyme is actually last time in the old syllabus is rennin. The old syllabus is rennin, which is used to coagulate the milk pepsinogen to casein, but it's no longer focused in the exam. Anyone of you have seen rennin in your exam questions before? No. So that's why I've already removed that out, okay, from your syllabus. It's already something that is being obsolete in Form 4 and Form 5, I believe. So you just focus on in your syllabus. Okay. So pepsin, okay, protein, polypeptide. So soalan ke soalan student, do you have any question to ask me? Do you have any question that you would like to ask me? Can I go on to the next part? Can or cannot? If okay, please type okay in the chat box. We'll move on to the next page. Okay, okay, thank you so much. So we'll move on to the next. So the next part, kita akan tengok esophagus. Why do I need to focus a bit on esophagus? Because this question came out as exam questions. All right. In fact, during my year of SPM, which was 14 years ago, all right, expose my age, 14 years ago, this was my SPM structured question. So dia tanya apa? So dia cakap terangkan apa yang berlaku semasa bolus berada dalam esophagus. So I hope you know that this ball-like food is the bolus. So benda ni nama dia adalah bolus. Okay. So how is it going down? Maksudnya this question is trying to ask you on the process of peristalsis. So you kena cakap the food moves by peristalsis. Then tak cukup. You kena explain apakah peristalsis. Apakah peristalsis? So peristalsis adalah pengecutan dan pengendoran otot licin secara beritma. Or you say it's a rhythmic contraction and relaxation of smooth muscle. Key point here is, okay, rhythmic contraction and relaxation. This is actually something that you learn in chapter 14 apabila you belajar pasal earthworm, cacing tanah, earthworm. That time you also mentioned that the way the cacing moves is a peristaltic wave. Sekali masih ingat. Okay, so the way the esophagus swallow the food is exactly the same as how the earthworm moves. So it's a rhythmic contraction and relaxation of smooth muscle. Sebab ini adalah tindakan luar kawal. It's a involuntary actions. That's why you must talk about smooth muscle. A good student would not just say muscle. You will have to mention what kind of muscle is that. It's a smooth muscle. Okay, all right. Understand now? Rhythmic contractions and relaxations of smooth muscles along the esophagus to push the bolus down. So if you are even a higher level student, you are even a smarter student, you should know their smooth muscle punya nama sebenarnya adalah sama macam cacing tanah. If you remember in the earthworm, what's the name of the muscle? Anyone remember or don't remember? You all remember? The circular muscle and longitudinal muscle. Chate is not a muscle. Chate is the bulu. It's a circular and longitudinal. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so that's something that you can bear in mind later. Okay, but you don't have to write, it's okay. The next thing is I want to focus on gastric gland. Okay, I want to focus on gastric gland. So gastric gland, it looks like a U shape. Any gland pun, it looks like a U shape like this. Okay, so it has 3 parts. I would say the outer part, the middle part, and also the lower part. So these are the 3 parts. So I teach you how to remember first. Okay, you know that the stomach has hydrochloric acid. Some of you, I think, accidentally opened the mic. Okay, sorry, I'll just mute you. Okay, so there are these 3 parts. How I remember is, you know that basically your stomach is very acidic. Dia ada banyak acid hydrochloric. Betul? This hydrochloric acid, do you know how much is the pH? It's only about 2. So it's very corrosive. So how come our stomach lining is not eroded? Kenapa kita punya stomach tak kena damage? Why? Because there is a layer of mucus. Maksudnya, there is a layer of mucus on the surface, alright? And this mucus actually prevents the corrosion by hydrochloric acid. Betul? So that's why the cell over this outer surface definitely is to produce the mucus. So what is the cell that produce mucus? Mucus cell. So that's why the cell over here, nama dia mucus cell. Why? Sebab dia produce mucus. Faham? What's the function of the mucus? It's actually to neutralize the corrosive effect of the hydrochloric acid. So there is one condition that later you will study, which you have a inflammation over the lining of the stomach. What do we call the disease? It's a disease related to eating habit. Gastritis. Okay, gastritis. So gastritis adalah keradangan yang berlaku di kita punya stomach ataupun perut. Okay, it's an inflammation over the stomach lining. And how can this happen? Gastritis, how can this happen? It's always because gastritis is not perforation. Don't confuse, please. Okay, Joti? Gastritis is just superficial inflammation. If you don't treat it, it will become more corroded, then it can forate. That is a complication. Okay, so gastritis is always because there is an imbalance between the acid and also the mucus. Maksudnya, kalau your acid is too much, ataupun your mucus is too less, then it will cause gastritis to happen. And one of it is irregular eating time. Sebab kalau you tak makan, your stomach will produce a lot of acid. Betul tak? Okay, so you will get corrosion, then you get gastritis. Right, one of it lah. Another one you study in your chemistry. What else can cause gastritis? You all know? I don't know whether they still in your chemistry or they remove this out already. There is a type of medication, yeah, aspirin, okay, aspirin, ataupun it belongs to a group called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs. This is a very common cause of gastritis as well. Did you study that in your syllabus, aspirin, in chemistry? Causing gastritis. Okay, so there's another thing that you need to pay attention. So mucus cell is always at the outermost because they have to release the mucus. Okay, so these two right now, okay, how I remember is you look at this. Okay, you look at this. What shape is this? This is U, right? This is a U shape. Am I right? U shape. But if you terbalikan it, if you inverse it, you rotate it. What is this alphabet? If you rotate it, then it is a C, right? So that's why I remember at the end is this C shape. Okay, I will remember the word chief cell. Okay, so in Bahasa English, it's called chief cell. In Bahasa Melayu, it's called utama. Chief means the head, the leader. So it's called cell utama. Even more easy because in Bahasa Melayu, it's U, right? So this is cell utama. Are you okay? Can you follow? Can you follow? So if you know this is mucus cell, this is chief cell, then the middle one, nama dia parietal cell. Parietal cell. Okay, and how do we relate the function? Very easy. I told you hydrochloric acid is very acidic. How do we measure acidic? How do we measure acidity? pH. So parietal P, think of hydrochloric acid pH. So parietal cell function release hydrochloric acid. Then if you know this, then your chief cell ataupun cell utama, what they do is to release pepsinogen. So that's how you relate the whole story instead of just memorizing it. Understand? Okay, so I will just erase this. I will show you again. So this is the parietal cell, ataupun cell parietal in Bahasa Melayu. This is your chief cell, which is a C shape, ataupun in Melayu is U shape. So cell utama. Okay, so your mucus cell is to produce mucus, which is a protective lining. Your parietal cell is to release hydrochloric acid. How to remember? pH. Okay, chief cell is to release pepsinogen. Okay, if you understand this, just write letter 1 in the chat box and then we'll move on. Faham? Faham? Okay, so we will move on. Next, we will continue. So we have already finished everything regarding the mouth. We have finished everything regarding the stomach. Okay, so the next place we'll talk about will be the duodenum. All right. So in the duodenum, you need to remember duodenum literally does not have any production. Dia tak produce apa-apa. Everything is coming from two sources, like I showed you just now. Remember just now in the beginning when we do the labeling, I told you duodenum, which is the C-shaped part of the intestine, dia menerima rembesan dari dua tempat. Where are those? Can you tell me? The pancreas and the liver. Yes, Saina, thank you so much. Liver lah. Pancreas and the liver. Pancreas and the liver. Pancreas and the gallbladder. Undi kempedu. Not liver. Okay? So liver and the gallbladder are different organs. I hope you know. They're not the same. Okay? So one side is liver produces bile, but they're stored in gallbladder. Okay? So the first side we talk about is pancreas. So in reality, pancreas should be over this side, but I just put it over here. It should be fine because I'm going to write the enzymatic reaction nicely. Okay? So pancreas. The pancreas is a very special organ. What is so special about pancreas? Can anyone tell me? What is so special about pancreas? Anyone can tell me? No one. Pancreas is the only gland in the body that is exocrine and endocrine. Faham ke? Dia adalah exocrine dengan endocrine gland. So what's the meaning? If you study chapter 12 later with me, you understand. Kalau kita cakap pasal telenja or gland, gland ataupun telenja, actually we got two types. Okay, one is called exocrine. Okay, bahasa Melayu is exocrine. Okay, satu lagi is actually endocrine. Right? Ataupun bahasa Melayu endocrine. Okay, so exocrine gland meaning dia ada satu salur. There is a duct. Maksudnya dia ada ductus. There is a duct. Dia ada ductus yang membawa the rembesan to a specific location. That is called exocrine. For example, our sweat gland, telenja peluh, is an exocrine gland. So the sweat is being brought by the sweat gland to the skin, to the outer skin. Nothing, nowhere else. Endocrine maksudnya dia tak ada duct. So bila dia tak ada duct, dia punya rembesan akan masuk dalam darah. So the blood is the place that transport it. So whenever you say endocrine, we are referring to hormones sebenarnya as the rembesan. Okay? Exocrine, in this session, we are referring to the enzyme. So why I say that the pancreas is very special? Sebab pancreas is the only body organ yang merupakan exocrine dan juga endocrine. Endocrine, bila kita belajar bab 12 nanti, you will see that pancreas dia boleh release insulin dan glucagon juga. Okay? But in this case, with digestion, we look at the exocrine function. Maksudnya we look at the pancreatic juice. So kalau you masih ingat, we actually have a ductus pancreas, or we call it a pancreatic duct that bring the juice from the pancreas to the duodenum. So that is exocrine. Maksudnya dia got a duct. Duct is a salo. There is a channel, 管道. Okay, but bear in mind, in exam they can combine exocrinous and endocrinous function, meaning they're going to see whether you know the pancreas can do both things. Okay, so just be aware on that. Okay, the hormone released by pancreas is insulin and glucagon. Okay, so the one I want to tell that over here first. We'll talk about it later. So pancreas is the most holistic digestive organ. Most holistic digestive organ. So here, I want to give you an algorithm once again. An algorithm. Okay, DSA, Dr. Steven algorithm. Okay, I want you to tell me, actually, how many classes of food are there in the body? How many classes of food are there? 7. You're right. Can you name me what are the 7 classes of food? The class makanan. What are the 7 classes of makanan? Okay, so your carbohydrates, carbs, proteins. Okay, your lipid. Okay, good. Some of you say vitamins. Okay, apa lagi? Minerals. Okay, good. Lagi? Water. Okay, yeah, correct. Lagi? What else? 6. One more. One more is your fiber. Okay. So these are the 7, the 7 classes of food. Okay. Now, the important thing is actually out of these 7 classes of food, which are the food that we need to digest? You have to think like that. What are the food that we need to digest actually? We need to digest the fat, okay, yeah. We need to digest the protein, and we need to digest the carb. So can I say, actually, these are the 3 things that we focus on when we talk about digestion. We don't care about vitamins, minerals, water, fiber, because we don't digest them. They're very, fiber definitely we don't even digest it because we have no cellulase. So we don't talk about fiber. But all these we can directly absorb. So carb, protein, and lipid, right? So carbohydrate digestion starts at the mouth. Just now our salivary amylase, betul, which hydrolyzes starch into maltose. Protein hydrolysis starts at stomach, which your pepsin hydrolyzes your protein into polypeptide. So now, when it comes to duodenum, I say that the pancreas dia adalah sangat cemerlang, terbilang. Why? Because they can release enzymes that break down all the 3 classes of food. Kalau kita tengok pasal carbohydrate, we have the pancreatic amylase. Okay, you kena ingat enzymes adalah specific. Pancreatic amylase dengan salivary amylase, their only difference is the site of secretion. So mereka punya substrate adalah sama. Maksudnya, starch plus water gives you maltose. This is something that is very important because a lot of students they confuse. They thought that in the mouth, the starch already become maltose. So in the duodenum, from maltose become glucose. That's wrong. Okay, amylase they do the same thing. All right, which is starch plus water gives you maltose. If you remember that. Okay, the next one is trypsin. So trypsin is to continue the protein hydrolysis. So tadi kita sudah ada polypeptide. So now from the polypeptide we become peptide. Simple. Polypeptide become peptide. Tu je. So kalau you tak ingat, I always tell my student the way to remember is POT. Ingat POT. Kita apa tu POT? No, the POT. So polypeptide is hydrolyzed by trypsin. So that you don't confuse with erepsin. Other students they confuse with erepsin. So erepsin is not over here. Okay. The next one is lipase. Lipase hydrolyzes your lipid into fatty acid and cholesterol. So that's why I say the pancreas very mantap because they can hydrolyze all the 3 classes of food. Faham? Tapi as a good student, you kena ingat sampai bila-bila. You kena ingat benda ini sampai bila-bila. In which don't forget your duodenum has another reception which is actually from the liver that produces the bile. So you kena ingat liver produces bile, tapi bile ni dia disimpan the site of storage. Okay, I wrap this first. But you have to remember the site of storage. Storage site is in the gallbladder. Okay, ataupun bahasa Melayu we call this as kundi hempedu. Okay, right? Okay, so from there they will actually go to the duodenum through the bile duct, ductus hempedu. Okay, so this bile has a very, very important function. Very important function. It is to emulsify the fats into tiny droplets. Okay, mengemulsikan lipid kepada titisan halus. So this step, when we talk about hydrolysis of lipid, which process comes first? Emulsification ataupun hydrolysis? Which process comes first? Emulsification ataupun hydrolysis? Which process should come first? Is emulsification. Benar ni. This is always our step number 1. This is baru step number 2. So this emulsification, alright, okay, emulsification. What are they trying to do actually? What are they trying to do or achieve from this process? Is that the fat, they are still fat. Faham ke? Alright? When we do emulsification, so let's say this is a big drop of fat. After we do emulsification, they are still fat. Just that they are in smaller droplets. And I told you 1,000 times already, whenever something becomes small, halus, is to increase the total surface area, ataupun JLP, for what? You want to increase the total surface area for what? For what? For the hydrolysis. Not absorption. Not absorption, it's for this process. Kenapa? Sebab you must understand, fat and water are enemy. Tak suka. Fat tak suka dengan air. How you want to do hydrolysis? Difficult. So you must do something on the fat first, which is emulsification, which explains all these water-soluble substances, you don't have to emulsify them. You only have to emulsify fat because fat and water are enemy. We talk about that since chapter 3, polar, non-polar. Are you getting me? So you have to remember, hydrolysis will break the substance. So it's no longer lipid anymore, it becomes other thing, fatty acid and cholesterol. Tapi emulsification, it doesn't break the component, it's just smaller than it. Okay? And of course, other functions of the bile will include to provide an alkaline pH, okay, for this enzyme. And of course, also to neutralize the chyme from the acidic medium. Sebab sebelum dia masuk duodenum, dia berada dari perut, which is acidic. But these enzymes, they want alkaline. So this bile, they will neutralize the pH and further make it alkaline, which is optimum for these enzymes. Do you understand this picture? Okay or no okay? Faham ke tak faham ni? Okay, clear. Okay, so later I'll ask you again. Okay, don't worry. So the last part we talk about is regarding the ileum. The last part is the ileum. So ileum, we have the intestinal cells that produces intestinal juice or the juice usus. Basically, this juice usus is very simple. Okay, remember, it completes the digestion. Okay, I don't agree with your textbook because your textbook tulis ada lipase dalam sini. Tak ada. Intestinal cells tak produce lipase. Mungkin proses tu akan continue sampai dia pergi ileum because duodenum is very short, tapi dia tak produce lipase. You can faham sampai dia ileum. Okay, so it completes the digestion of the disaccharides. So in this scenario, your understanding in chapter 4 is very important. What are the 3 disaccharides that we have? Can you type in the chat box? Let me know. What are the 3 disaccharides that we have? Disaccharida. What are the 3 disaccharides that we have? Maltose, okay, sucrose, what else? Lactose. So the enzyme will be maltase, lactase, sucrase. Maltosa, sucrosa, lactosa. Disaccharides. Dan kita ada erepsin yang menghabiskan proses hidrolysis untuk kelas protein. Faham? So for maltase, dia akan menghidrolysiskan maltosa kepada glucosa. Glucosa, this is the easy one. Remember mokuku? Okay, this is the mokuku. Alright, mokuku. Lactase, easy lah. Lactose, if you break it down, definitely it becomes your glucose and galactose. This is what I teach you how to remember before anyone. So sucrase is sucrose, becomes glucose and fructose. The most failed sugar in the world, sucrose. Okay, erepsin, peptide becomes your amino acid. Sachif asks, I always confuse erepsin and trypsin. Is there any way to differentiate the two? I can't tell you just now. I can't tell you pot ma. Right, guys, what is pot? Just like I told you, what is pot? What is pot? What is pot? What's the meaning of pot? What's the meaning of pot in this case? Apakah pot? Pot is pancreatic amylase. You're gonna die, Sachif. You understand what is pot? Polypeptide is used trypsin. Listen or not? Polypeptida, kita pakai trypsin. So if you know this, erepsin will not be confused. Erepsin is the end. Another way to remember, erepsin, E stands for the end. So it's to end the process of protein hydrolysis. So you get amino acid at the end. Questions? 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 No. Jyoti, no. I told you, duodenum is very short. It's only about 10 to 15 cm. Do you think the hydrolysis of lipid can complete in the ileum? Actually, no. They will continue, but the enzyme is produced from there. So the enzymatic reaction will continue to happen. Chyme. Okay, so when you see the word chyme, in Bahasa Melayu is K-I-M, chyme. Okay, so chyme produces from the stomach. Whatever comes from the stomach is called a chyme. Whatever comes from the mouth is called the bolus. So from the mouth is bolus, from the stomach is chyme. Okay? Lagi? Any more questions you want to ask? So we talk so much. How will the question come up? Isn't it? The most important thing is how the exam question will come up. So exam question got 2 types. I told you just now. Type 1, structured question. So structured question, easy. Basically, straightforward. They ask you a part, and then they ask you what happened in the part. Have you seen this type of question before? For example, they ask you to label stomach, then ask you what happened in the stomach. You just type the whole thing. Simple. Essay, normally how they will ask you the question is they give you a food. They give you a food. For example, in this case, let's say I give you one question that I have recently seen is they give you, say, for example, steamed chicken. Steamed chicken. Okay, so how will you answer this question? So they ask you, okay, so someone eat a steamed chicken, ayam kukus. So explain the whole hydrolysis process that takes place along the alimentary canal. So how will you answer this question? How will you do this question? Tell me. What's the algorithm to tackle this type of question? Number 1, come, try. Start with chewing. No, wrong. Yes, Zixian, very good. Number 1 is you must analyze what is the nutrient inside the food. Itu sangat penting. You must tell me what is the nutrient inside the food. And how do we analyze nutrient? You don't have to care about your vitamins, minerals, semua sebab mereka tidak akan dicerna. You only have to take care of your carb, lipid, and your protein. So you need to ask yourself, in the steamed chicken, do we need to pay attention to carbohydrates? Is it carbohydrates in the steamed chicken? What do you think? So no, right? So this is something that you don't really need to talk about. What about lipid? Okay, depends lah. You want to say steamed chicken got totally no lipid, also no, right? But you know that this question, they mainly focus on protein. Definitely the main thing is definitely protein. But lipid, you want to say totally no, also cannot say. But if I change the question to fried chicken, for example, then definitely there will be lipid lah. Kalau steamed chicken, their main focus will be on protein. But this is an essay question. If you write more, will you get mark deduction? My answer. If you write more, will you get deduction of marks? No. So if let's say you got enough time, you want to say that, okay, there is a small amount of lipid, then you want to talk about the hydrolysis of lipid. Will any teacher mark you wrong in that? No. Just that it's not in the answer scheme. It's not in the answer scheme, so it's not awarded any mark, but it won't be penalized. But if it's in the answer scheme, you didn't write, then you miss the mark. So my conclusion is, in exam, whenever you feel like something can be like that, you write. Because if you write, you won't get wrong. If it's wrong. But if you don't write, if it's in the answer scheme, then you miss the mark. So better write. Okay? So, once you know that in the steamed chicken mostly is the protein, then how you want to analyze is, you always need to start from the mouth. Even though I know there's no carbohydrates, but you need to start from the mouth. So you say, in the mouth, okay, if you are even a more bombastic student, maybe if they never say enzymatic reaction, they just say digestion, you can also talk about physical digestion, right? The pencernaan physical. Because pencernaan physical also is a type of digestion, which takes place in the mouth. Correct? But if they mention clearly just enzyme, then maybe you can skip the part, but still you start from the mouth. You say in the mouth, no hydrolysis happen. Then you follow the whole track. Stomach, what enzyme hydrolyzes what into what? Then in the duodenum, what hydrolyzes what into what? Ileum, what hydrolyzes into what? Then if you got lipid, for example, let's say it's fried chicken, very obvious got lipid. Don't forget emulsification first. You must think what emulsification first, then only talk about lipid punya hydrolysis. So the first step, you must analyze the nutrient in the food first, not directly go inside the assay. Do you get me? So this is the strategy to answer this kind of question. Very easy only. Very easy. Just follow whatever we have already mentioned just now. Okay, are you getting me, guys? If okay, I'll move on to the second point, which is absorption. Anything you want to ask? Lie. Anything? Because a lot of students, they takut this chapter. I don't know why they takut this chapter. This chapter is easy. They takut. Kenapa in exam? So I'm telling you, this is how to answer. K-Bar, I will consider the steam chicken as a K-Bar question because it's not mentioned in the textbook. But any K-Bar question, there will be a way to tackle it. Actually, it's not really totally out of the syllabus. It can be related in the syllabus. Okay? So now we'll talk about the second concept, which is absorption. In Bahasa Melayu, penyerapan. So the first thing you must remember is vilai. In Bahasa Melayu is villus. So we, as usual, we start with the labelings dulu. Labeling dulu. Okay? So this outermost layer of cell, there is one cell thick, is our epithelial lining ataupun lapisan epithelium in Bahasa Melayu. Then you will have your blood capillary, which is this thing that surrounds the middle finger, which is the lectule. Okay? So you have the epithelial lining, all right? You have the lectule, and you have the blood capillary. So it's pretty straightforward. Now the important thing is that the epithelial lining, if I would like to zoom in further, what structure can I expect to see? Right, let me know. Kalau ini lapisan epithelium, kalau saya zoom in lagi, what is the structure that I would expect to see? Is microvillus, which is this thing. So kalau saya zoom in lagi, you will see this thing in Bahasa Melayu is called microvillus. Okay, so this microvillus, whenever you see this microvillus, of course it's for what, guys? What is it for? Microvillus, what's function? Increase the JLP. Now, in this case, I have to be very straightforward with you. Just like macam alveoli and, okay, when we talk about gaseous exchange, when we talk about the adaptations of alveoli, do I say one cell thick for rapid diffusion of gases? Do I use this kind of words? Diffusion? No, you must be specific to the process. In the last chapter, we talk about gaseous exchange. So that's the process. In this case, the process is absorption. So you need to say absorption as a keyword, penyerapan nutrient. Okay, so this is regarding structure. After structure, the next thing must be adaptation. Okay, the next thing must be adaptation. So I'll label again, all right, epithelium, blood capillary, and lectule. So when we talk about adaptation, ataupun penyesuaian, remember just now microvillus is 1, microvillus is 1, okay? So epithelium lining got 2 points. Remember, epithelial lining got 2 points. 1 is just now the microvillus. Okay, the microvillus. Another one is what? What is another one? That you can see very obvious from this picture. You can see what is so obvious regarding here. One cell thick ataupun setebal satu cell. So you can see there's only one layer. They don't have 2 layers, only one layer. So it's setebal satu cell. Whenever it's one cell thick, the keyword is rapid, fast. Mempercepatkan penyerapan nutrient. Next, we look at the blood capillary and we look at the lectule. What is the DSA over here? DSA is what? Dr. Steven, algorithm. What is the DSA over here? The DSA over here is that, once again, we look at the 7 classes of food, which is your carbohydrate, protein, lipid, vitamins, minerals, water, and also fiber. So first of all, do we absorb any fiber? Roughage? No. So this one we definitely out of the box. Okay. So all this is really out of the box. So now left carbohydrate, protein, lipid, vitamins, mineral, and water. Okay. Lectule, I want you to remember something below. The L, if you follow me since Form 4, I told you before, L stands for 2 things. What are the 2 things that the L stands for? Number 1, lipid. Yeah. So anything that's related to lipid goes into the lectule later. Satu lagi, what is another L? Yes, it's lymphatic system. Okay. You kena ingat sampai bila-bila. Lectule, dia bukan dalam blood circulatory system, is part of lymphatic system. In fact, it is actually a lymph capillary. Okay, you have to remember this. So the L got 2 things. One is lipid, another thing is a lymphatic system, belongs to the lymphatic system. So whatever that is fat related, for example, macam lipid, ataupun if my vitamins can be separated into 2, which is a fat soluble vitamins, vitamin larut lipid, and also water soluble vitamin, vitamin larut air. The fat soluble vitamins, these 2 will go to your lectule. Faham? So the rest, carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is a very large word. What is the smallest unit of carbohydrate that we need to absorb? Nanti, carbohydrate can be monosaccharide, can be disaccharide, can be polysaccharide. So which one? What are the carbohydrates that we absorb? The keyword is monosaccharide. Don't say glucose. So not only glucose, we have fructose, we have your galactose, so it's monosaccharide or monosaccharide. Protein, smallest unit that we get just now is what? AA. Betul tak? Acid, amino, ataupun amino, acid. So water soluble vitamins, okay? Your others will be your minerals, water, and also all that. Okay, so all these that I labeled in orange color all goes to the blood capillary. Lectule is whatever that is lipid related. So I hope that this DSA helps you to understand it better. So now, if you have a look closer to it, we say that I told you already, lectule is for absorption of lipid and fat soluble vitamins. Your blood capillary is every other things like mono, amino, mineral, water, and water soluble vitamins. So altogether, when we talk about adaptation, you just have to remember the villi punya bentuk, epithelial lining ada 2 adaptasi, your lectule and your blood capillary. So altogether got 4. Altogether got 4. But of course, there is one more if you want to tell, is one more is the large number. Sebab venous ni, not just got 1 or 2, you got a lot of them. So one more, if you talk about the 5th adaptation is, you can say there's a large number of villi in the ileum to increase the TSA for effective absorption of nutrients. Faham ke student? Are you okay? So conclusion, how many adaptations in total for absorption of nutrients? Berapa penyesuaian yang kami ada? How many? Altogether, how many? Hello, how many? 4 only, 5 lah. 5. Small intestine having long length also considered adaptation. Yeah, you can say so. Long length, I would say it's the same point as like a lot of villi. Long length means more villi. So both of them are the same point macam to increase the surface area actually. Understand? So if it's short means lesser villi. Long means more villi. So it's increased TSA for 5 points. The large number of villi, epithelium got 2 points, lectule, blood capillary 5. Can I move on? We have another epic mind map right now, okay? We have another very epic mind map that I hope you all can follow through. So this mind map is very epic because I try to squeeze in everything in one picture. So very epic. So one is we talk about epithelial lining, we've talked about it just now. Okay, so the lectule is the green structure, am I right? This green structure is the lectule. Alright, so I want all the students to understand what will go into the lectule. Can you tell me again what will go into the lectule just now? What will go to the lectule? What goes to the lectule? Lipid. But you must understand, guys, lipid already broken down just now in the duodenum. Betul tak? The lipid is already broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. So is it lipid or fatty acids or glycerol? Which one? Fatty acids and glycerol. No, it's lipid. It's lipid. Kenapa? I will explain. So initially it's fatty acids and glycerol because they already broke down already. They already broke down by the duodenum. Am I right? So it's fatty acids and glycerol. Tapi they will recombine to become lipid back. This is very important. So benda ini we call it as recombinasi. So they will recombine, okay, to become lipid. Tapi you kena ingat, this lipid is not the same as the triglycerides that you will try to break down in the beginning. Bukan benda yang sama. This is actually, if you want to study in a higher level, it's called chylomicron. It's actually a way to transport the lipid. It's like a lorry, like they make it into a lorry to transport. Okay, but in your syllabus, they make it easy, they just call it lipid. But if you remember, this lipid is not the lipid that you break down just now. Because some students will ask me, if they want to become that lipid, why they want to break down in the first place? Right now. So this lipid is not the same as the lipid just now. The lipid that you break down earlier on is the triglycerida. This one is chylomicron. It's not the same. Okay? So another group is what? Besides fatty acids and glycerol become that lipid. Where they recombine, by the way, you know? Where these things recombine? They recombine in the epithelial lining. Faham? This process happens in the epithelial lining. Maksudnya sebelum dia masuk dalam lectule, they do the recombination dulu. So the one that goes into the lectule sebenarnya is lipid. Okay, apa lagi? One more. One more is your fat-soluble vitamins, which are your vitamin. What are the fat-soluble vitamins? Vitamin A, D, E, K. Okay, next question is very simple. Tell me what process they use to absorb this group of nutrients. If you cannot answer me this question, I will slap your face. What process they use to reabsorb this substance? Simple diffusion. Bahasa Melayu, resapan ringkas. Okay, they are using simple diffusion ataupun resapan ringkas. Okay, paham? Why they can use this substance? Why can they use this process? Because these substances are non-polar. Okay, we learned about this in chapter 3. So this lectule, okay, now I will combine both absorption and assimilation together. By the way, what is the meaning of assimilation? Apakah maksud assimilation? In bahasa Melayu, it's called assimilasi. What's the meaning? Can you use one word to replace this word? Apakah maksud ni? Assimilasi or assimilation is guna. So use. Okay, so this is absorption. You must remember, this part I told you is absorption. But you absorb the nutrients is because you want to use it. So you must talk about the usage, which is assimilation also. So this lectule later, it goes where? It joins back to lymphatic vessel. Betul tak? So this is lymph capillary. So lymph capillary, they will join to lymphatic vessel. So this lymphatic vessel, because it belongs to below part of your body. Am I right? Ileum is at the tummy, which is below your diaphragm. So it all goes to the thoracic duct. This is something that we'll learn in chapter 10 later, next week. Thoracic duct. Then from here, they go to the bloodstream through what? This is to test your knowledge. What is this? How can this go back to the bloodstream? HPV? No. No, definitely not. How they go back to the bloodstream? Yes, it's left subclavian vein. You must know. Yes, good, Tara, and also sign up. Very good. It's left subclavian vein. You must know this. If you don't know, never mind. Next week I'll teach you again. Okay, so left subclavian vein back to the bloodstream. So from the bloodstream they go to the heart. Okay, then they'll go to the body cell. Faham ke? So what's the key point I want to highlight over here? Do you know what's the key message? Who can tell me what's the key message I try to highlight? What's the key point? What's the key point? No, the key point is this substance they don't go to the liver. Faham tak? They don't go to the liver straight away. They will bypass the liver and then they go to the heart. They go to the body cell. This body cell, does it include the liver? You understand or not? Does it include the liver body cell? The answer is yes lah. Okay, what I try to highlight is after we absorb the lipid, they don't go to the liver straight away, unlike other nutrients. All the other nutrients later, they straight away will go to the liver. But lipid, they don't go to the liver straight away. But will they reach liver later? That's my question. Will this lipid all that reach liver later? The answer is yes. But that, in exam, we call that as assimilation in cell, not assimilation in liver. Because in the exam, you need to understand, you see the question carefully. Are they asking assimilation in liver ataupun assimilation in cell? There is no assimilation of lipid in liver. Maksudnya, lipid don't go to the liver straight away. Tapi there is assimilation of lipid in the cell, which include liver cell, which they will transport later lah. Do you understand what I'm talking about or not? Clear or not clear? So in the liver, there is no assimilation of lipid directly. But later, yes. But that belongs same like any other body cell. When I say assimilation in the liver, those are the processes that only can be done in the liver, not any other body cell. You understand or not? So in a nutshell, lipid only assimilated in body cell, which include the liver. Yeah, when I say assimilation in liver, it's only exclusive to liver. Other cell cannot do. But when I say body cell, it includes liver cell. For example, how do we use lipid? Tell me. So this will go back to chapter 4. Remember now, chapter 4, where I teach you the functions of lipid. So it's the same. Go back to that. So dia adalah simpanan tenaga, correct not? Dia adalah boleh membina membran plasma, right? Dia adalah penebat haba, keep you warm, right? Itu pelapik untuk melindungi. Obviously, go back to the basic. So let me ask you, liver cell got plasma membrane or not? Yes. So do they need lipid to form it? Yes. Yes. But it's not only liver cell use it, all the cells will use it. So that I don't consider as assimilation in liver. I consider this as assimilation in body cell, which include liver. That means the liver will receive the lipid also, but not directly, later. Do you understand? Are you okay? If you okay, understand this left-hand side, with this right-hand side, just write a letter 1 in the chat box. I'll move on to the next part. Understand? Huh? So does plants don't have cholesterol in the plasma membrane? That you don't need to know. Don't confuse yourself at this point. At this point, you just need to know the important things. Okay? So the next one is blood capillary. So blood capillary, all the other things are like what? Amino acid, monosaccharide, water, potassium vitamin, mineral salts. So what process they use to absorb into the blood capillary? What process they use to absorb into the blood capillary? Okay, this one you need to be careful. Color water, what process they use? Color water, definitely osmosis, nothing else. Osmosis. So you need to know the process. When you talk about absorption, you must kena tahu dia punya process. Where they absorb and what's the process, you must know. So it's osmosis. Okay? Kalau monosaccharide, everything else, active transport, kecuali satu benda, satu. Monosaccharide inside got one is your fructose. If you talk about fructose, you kena berhati-hati sebab fructose, ataupun in bahasa Melayu fructosa, fructosa starts with letter F. So this is the only one that use FD, facilitated diffusion, or in bahasa Melayu it's called resapan berbantu. So FD ataupun resapan berbantu RB. Why is it different than the others? Actually, not only fructose do that, it's your syllabus want you to remember as such. In reality, it's not that simple. Okay? So the rest, garam mineral, your other monosaccharide, do you think in reality it's so easy? No, definitely it's a lot deeper. Okay, water soluble vitamins, amino acids, semua benda ni, they pakai what process to get into the blood capillary? What process they use? AT. Active transport. Ataupun pengangkutan active. So if you look at this picture, it's very beautiful because it has all the four movement. Simple diffusion is all these fat-related substances. Am I right? Your fructose is the only one using FD, facilitated diffusion, atau resapan bantu. Then water, osmosis. Together with the water soluble vitamins. Water soluble vitamins is larut, so mungkin they also flow together with water by osmosis. But the rest, your mineral salts, your monosaccharides like your glucose, galactose, amino acid, all use active transport. If okay, write okay in the chat box. I'll move on. Am I going too fast? Hopefully not. Can you understand my mind map? Okay, boleh boleh accept Okay, so kalau we talk about all these substances, alright, all these substances, where they go? Where they go? They go to the hepatic portal vein, which is a vena porta hepa, to go to the liver. So they don't go to the blood straight away. They go to the liver dulu. All these things, they go to the liver. So liver is a checkpoint for all these grey color nutrients that I put over the left-hand side. They all go to the liver first. Sebelum pergi ke systemic circulation. So whatever I put in this box is called assimilation in the liver. Maksudnya, benda ni hanya boleh dilaku oleh liver. For example, if we talk about glucose, how does the liver assimilate glucose that other places cannot? Anyone know? Anyone know? Who can tell me? This is very simple to me. Regulation of glucose, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? We studied in chapter 30, yes, I know, but what does it mean? What does it mean? Yes, so glucose can become glycogen kalau glucose punya level tinggi. Maksudnya, if let's say baru makan, then glucose akan ditukar kepada glycogen lah. Betul tak? So, but this process is reversible. Maksudnya, let's say kalau your glucose is low, then your glycogen can become back glucose. Correct not, guys? Faham ke? So, if your glucose is too much, they can also become lipid. So, just some extra knowledge question, just to ask you. Manakah tapak simpanan untuk glycogen? Glycogen can store where? Where is the storage site for glycogen? So, it will be your liver, hati, and not adipose. Glycogen. Glycogen is stored in skeletal muscle. Very, very specific skeletal muscle. Otot rangka. Okay? So, regarding your lipid is the one that's stored in tissue, adipose. Or we call it as adipose tissue. Okay? And the process also is reversible. Maksudnya they can become back glucose again to generate energy. So, when the glucose goes to the body cell, then we do what we call as assimilation of glucose in body cell. How the body cell use glucose, guys? Can you tell me? How the body cell use glucose? So, it's a substrate. So, I rub this off. It's really blocking the thing. So, it's a substrate for cellular respiration to produce energy. Does this include liver cell? Does this process include liver cell? The body cell over here, does it include liver cell? Yes or no? Yes, but I don't consider that as assimilation in the liver. It includes for other body cells. But if let's say they talk about assimilation of liver of glucose in the liver cell, you can talk about this also. If let's say you think the point is not enough, it's not wrong because this process happens in the liver as well. Okay, in conclusion, whatever assimilation in body cell you can write for liver. Whatever assimilation in liver you cannot use for body cell. Understand? Whatever assimilation of body cell you can use it for liver, but whatever over this box you cannot use it for body cell. Okay? So besides glucose, another thing that you must remember is amino acid. Amino acid is important. There are two ways to assimilate amino acid in the liver. One, if the amino acid is too much, they can use to produce plasma protein. Plasma protein is what? Plasma protein is not the protein on plasma membrane. Plasma protein, example, will be like your albumin, fibrinogen, prothrombin. So those are plasma protein. The protein in the blood plasma. The protein in the blood plasma. Okay? So another way is amino acid is not like glucose or lipid. We cannot store it. So they will be converted to urea. So this process is called deamination ataupun pendeaminaan. Okay? So simply means D means deactivate, you deactivate the amino acid. So deamination. So this urea later will be excreted through the urine. This is assimilation of amino acid in the liver. Okay? So when it comes to body cell, how do we use the amino acid? It's just like what we learned for function of protein in the chapter 4. Like you repair damaged cells, you make enzyme, make hormone, make plasma membrane. So this one page actually summarizes your textbook punya more than 10 pages. Protoplasm is the whole, how do you call that? The cell, okay? is something like cytoplasm. Nothing, it's not much of difference. Protoplasm is the whole cell, okay? So you can divide into cytoplasm and nucleoplasm. The whole thing is called protoplasm. Okay, no? Okay, no? Boleh dapat ke whatever I say, wait, ladies and gentlemen? So simple, wait. Very simple. It's something you can analyze in one page. How difficult can it be? How difficult can it be? The questions all come from here only. The questions all come from here. Nothing else. Okay? So, like I say, you don't easy copy first because I think you don't have time to copy. You want to listen and copy. How you want to do it both? I know it's intensive class, but I don't want to take your life. Okay? You later still can watch the recording slowly, do your notes. Don't worry. Okay? But most importantly is you follow my pace. Okay? We can do this very easily. You see, all the chapters I give you algorithms and ways to do it. There's no reason you cannot score one. Really, lah. I cannot think of any reason you cannot score. Cannot think of. Okay? So move on. Okay, so this is the lever. Okay? So function of lever. What are functions of lever? We've talked about so much. Okay, just so that you know. Alright, the lever got many functions. So I conclude your 6 lah. Okay, that we have mentioned already all this while. Okay. So carbohydrates metabolism, maksudnya the just one, the one I said glucose become glycogen, glycogen become back glucose, glucose become lipid, that is carbohydrate metabolism. Synthesis of plasma protein, this is regarding the amino acid, just how we also mentioned about it. Deamination, you produce bile, detoxification, and also storage of nutrients like glycogen. So this is the one that we mentioned all this while. Okay, so recently there's a question that like to be asked in exam. I didn't put in my slide, but it's in your notes. Is where your liver becomes paparut. That means scarred. When your liver becomes scarring. Okay, so it's a scarring of the liver. What do we call the condition? It's called liver cirrhosis. Okay, liver cirrhosis. So in Bahasa Melayu also it's called cirrhosis, just as it spells BM. So liver cirrhosis, what happened is that if you know the function, whatever that the liver can do, they cannot do that. I've seen this question before in exam, so just be a bit careful. Whatever they can do, they cannot do. That's all. Okay, so we got about 40 more minutes. We focus on balanced diet, which is okay. The defecation part, can you read yourself? The last part, defecation, is nothing much. The one defecation, basically they go to the colon absorb water, and you got some vitamin B12, all that being produced by your colon bacteria, and then they become the store in the rectum, and then they come out. That one is nothing much lah. Our defecation, I don't want to mention it. It's very simple. Okay, can I skip defecation? Okay, so I mentioned the 3 main topics lah: digestion, absorption, assimilation. Defecation can come out in exam, but it will be a very small mark question. Okay, maybe later we talk about it when we talk about the diet. Okay, so but before that, I just want to ask you, how important is diet in your exam? How important is diet in your exam? Diet is very important. It's very important in exam. So you must know the approach to handle diet question. How we handle diet question. Okay, before that, I'll just quickly go through 2 calculations. Okay, one is energy value, another one is vitamin C. Okay, I just want to ask quickly, do you all know how to do energy value? Simple only. You all know the concept behind this? Forgot already? You all know, no? This one come out in paper 3 before. This thing come out in paper 3 before. You know the concept behind this or not? If you know, I can skip. I go on to the important thing. If you don't know, I explain to you why the formula is like that. You don't know the concept? Okay, the concept is very easy. What is energy value? What is energy value? What is the meaning of energy value? Apakah itu energy value? Ataupun nilai tenaga. In bahasa Melayu, it's called nilai tenaga. What is this? What is it? Calorie? Okay, what is it? What is it? Apakah definition? Okay, yeah, Elroy, you're almost there. It means the energy that is stored in the food. I repeat, it is the energy stored in food. In bahasa Melayu, berapa tenaga yang ada dalam makanan itu? That's energy value. So how do we quantify it in physics? In physics, most important thing is always what? The unit. So you must know the unit. What's the unit for energy value? Tell me first. If you know unit, everything is easy. What's the unit? Kilojoule. Wrong. It's okay. Up to you lah. Whether you want, if the value is very big, you can say kilojoule. So or you can say standard. I think the standard value is joule per gram. Joule per gram. Tapi kalau value itu sangat besar, you can convert it to kilojoule. Up to you. But it's joule per gram. So apakah maksud dia? Maksudnya, in 1 gram of the food, dalam 1 gram of the makanan, how much of energy is inside? That's the understanding. So in our body, how we get energy from the food? How we get energy from the food? We do respiration, which is mostly aerobic respiration, respirasi aerob. What's the difference between aerobic respiration and fermentation? We studied already 2 weeks ago. Is that in aerobic respiration, ataupun respirasi aerob, there is presence of oxygen. Am I right? So this makes it very similar to burning, combustion, pembakaran. Because combustion also needs energy, and also need oxygen. So that's why out of so many things we use combustion. Now, the idea is if we burn the food, we expect that there will be heat energy come out. And this heat energy is the energy value of the food. Agree? The heat that comes out is the energy of the food. Agree? Agree? Now tell me first, agree or not agree? That when I burn the food, the heat that comes out is the energy value of the food. Agree? Agree? So I want to know how much is this. How can I know? Very simple. I can know it in an indirect way, which you learn in physics. Heat transfer. Maksudnya, I hope you have seen this before. I just write in English, like I used to say. So the heat released by the food should equal to the heat absorbed by water. Don't tell me you never see this before in your physics. In physics, you always do this, isn't it? Heat released by something equals to heat absorbed by something. Am I right? Correct. Okay. So how do we calculate heat absorbed by water? Simple. We use the heat change formula, MC theta. Right? We use the formula of MC theta. M. This M, is it mass of food or mass of water right now? Important. Is it mass of food or mass of water? This is very important. I indirectly measure the heat released by the food by measuring the heat absorbed by the water. So this MC theta should belong to the water. So the M is belong to the water, the mass of the water. which correspond to the volume of the water. Because we know water punya density, the GC for the water is 1 gram per cm cube. Ataupun in every 1 ml of the water, there is 1 gram of water. So if let's say I say this water is 10 ml, which means we are having 10 gram of the water. Faham? C is the specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity, muatan haba tentu, which is in water. In physics, you learn 4,200 because it's in kilojoule. But if you look at it in a smaller value, like in bio, it's 4.2. This is why I don't think I need to explain to you what is it. Okay, 4.2 joule per gram per degree Celsius. That's the formula. That means for every 1 gram of water, if you want to raise it by 1 degree Celsius, you need 4.2 joule of energy. Okay, simple, very simple. So theta is temperature change. So you need to have a final temperature T2 minus T1. You get the temperature change. Okay, so eventually you get a value. So let's say I give you some value, okay, 10. So let's say this is 10. Okay, let's say this one is the T1 initial is 24, T2 is let's say 26. Okay, so your theta will be 2. So what will be the value over here? What's the value over here? What's the value? 10 times 4.2 times 2. So you get how much? How much? You have a calculator, how much? Hello, how much? 84. But okay, can I say when I burn this food, I actually get 84 joule of energy? Yes or no, guys? I get 84 joule of energy, yes or no? Yes or no? But I actually want to know in every gram. So what should I do? What should I do? In every gram, I need to divide back with the mass of food. So the mass of food right now is, let's say, it's 10 gram. So when you do, divide by 10, you get 8.4 joule per gram. So if you memorize, you should in your further study, you must understand why the formula is like that. So which gives you the final formula like this. So nilai tenaga equals to GC IA, okay? GC IA times 4.2, which is a muatan haba tentu, times your change in temperature, divide by GC sample makanan times 1000. This one depends. Depends you want to make it into kilojoule or not. If the value is very big, you can make it into kilojoule. If the value is very small, like in this case, very small, you just make it joule. If you understand right one in the chat box, we only had left half an hour. Faster. I thought you all know one this thing. Suddenly teach physics. Okay, you're okay. Okay, move on. Okay, so this is the formula. So importantly is you must remember above here is all water punya. This is all water. The mass is water, the specific capacity is water, and then the change of water temperature also is water one. So down there is the makanan punya. Okay, so vitamin C, you all know about this. This one came out as your SPM paper 3 also. Pernah keluar in the first year. You all know the concept about this? Or don't know? You want me to explain this or don't know? Or no need? Vitamin C. Don't know the reason. Okay, right. I explain. This one is a bit different. The concept of this is actually ratio. Now, the idea is you must first, your school just skip this. This is so important. This is so important. You cannot skip this. Okay? But you must, instead of memorizing the equation, you try to understand why is it like that. So the idea is this blue color thing that we put inside is called DCPIP solution. You don't know the full name, okay? Just remember it's called DCPIP. So this DCPIP solution, all right, initially is blue color one. It's blue color. This one in the syringe, we have to do this experiment 2 times. Remember, the first time is a control. So this one, let's say, is the first experiment. It's a control experiment. Okay. So what I need to do is in this syringe, I must put a known concentration of ascorbic acid. For example, I put it as 0.1% ascorbic acid. So what I do right now is, it's very simple. So in this syringe, I put 0.1% ascorbic acid. In this test tube, I put DCPIP, alright, which is blue color. Then what I do is, I will slowly press the syringe drop by drop until the end point is it becomes colorless. So I will have a volume right now. I will have a volume of the 0.1% ascorbic acid that decolorizes the DCPIP. Agree? So let's say this volume is, let's say it's 3 ml. Let's say 3 ml. So what information I get is, if let's say the ascorbic acid, by the way, is vitamin C. If you say the word acid ascorbic, it means vitamin C. They are the same thing. Alright? So if the vitamin C is 0.1%, I need 3 ml, baru I can decolorize the DCPIP. This is the concept. So now you must understand your concept, your logic must be there. So your logic is, if the vitamin C is stronger, maksudnya, the higher the kepekatan, concentration of vitamin C, okay, supposedly, do you think you need a higher amount or lower amount to decolorize the same concentration and volume of DCPIP? This is logic, pure logic. Low, definitely it's low, isn't it? Because it's strong. So if it's strong, you don't need that much. So you need lesser amount, lesser volume to decolorize the DCPIP. So once you know this, it's very simple already. We are going to do the second set of experiment. So in the second set of experiment, okay, this is the real deal. This is the real experiment. I will do the same thing. Okay, I'll do the same thing. But instead of using 0.1% ascorbic acid, I will use the fruit juice. For example, I use, let's say I use lemon juice. Lemon juice. Okay, I put lemon juice inside. My purpose is to find the percentage of vitamin C in this lemon juice. Am I right? I want to know how much vitamin C is in this lemon juice. So I drop by drop into the DCPIP until it becomes colorless. So I got the volume right now. The volume of lemon juice used to decolorize the DCPIP, let's say, is 2 ml. Don't think anything first right now. Don't talk calculation or anything. You just tell me this lemon juice punya concentration of vitamin C, is it higher or lower than 0.1? That's the only thing I want you to tell me. Is it higher or lower? Must be higher. Sebab dia punya volume needed is lesser. Maksudnya dalam tu vitamin C is higher. Right? So you haven't done any calculation yet, but you know it. Why? Because in your brain, all of our brain are wired to do ratio by itself. So actually how we calculate this? Very easy. Okay, I put it into a perspective. Kalau we use 3 ml, okay, it's actually 0.1%. If now 2 ml, how many percent is it? So normally how we all do? if you look at your chemistry, you have to do this, isn't it? 1 mole is how many, so 2 mole is how many. But you must remember, your chemistry punya relationship is all directly proportional. Kalau it is directly proportional, is down there divided by up. Maksudnya like this. This is when the relationship is directly proportional. Then you do like that. Down there divided by up there. But this is inversely proportional. Maksudnya higher vitamin C, lower volume. So you need to use up there divided by down. This is simple ratio. Okay, so you use up there. So you say it is, okay, so the percentage of vitamin C equals to 3 divided by 2 times 0.1. Answer? Answer? 0.15%. So does it match with your brain that you think just now that is supposed to be higher than 0.1%? Does it match? Yes. You try to reverse this and see. The most common thing is students confuse the formula. They terbalik this. That means 2 divided by 3 times 0.1. You try to do it. If you terbalikkan it, what's the value? 2 divided by 3 times 0.1. What's the value? 0.067, which is lower than 0.1. You know that it's not ngam already. Which give you this as the formula. Yeah, you can use logic to mathematics and MS are all logic one, correct? Easy only, very easy only one. Okay, so your peratus vitamin C, this one is the level point now. Your isipadu larutan acid ascorbate, which is this 3. Remember 3 ml, this one is the isipadu of ascorbic acid, right? Divided by isipadu of the juice and digunakan, which is this 2 ml, this is the juice, times 0.1%. So do you need this formula actually? No, this formula you don't need. You understand or not? You understand or not, guys? Understand? So this 0.1% is equal to 1 mg per ml. So it depends on what they want. Okay, if it's 0.1%, then it's 1 mg per ml. So depends on what formula, what kind of unit you want. You want it to be peratus or you want it to be kepekatan mg per ml. Do you understand now about this experiment? What you mean got time? Time what? What got time? What do you mean? We got 20 more minutes. Harap cukup masa. Okay, can go on. So now we look at balanced diet. Of course, we have to look at another BSA, Dr. Steven algorithm. When you deal with a balanced diet, there is a formula for you to answer this kind of question. Everything in biology got a formula one. Okay, so the formula is you must first tell me or the examiner what is the class of food. I'll tell you example later. Okay. Number 2, you must know what is the example of the food. And number 3, what is the function of the food. And number 4, what happens if it's too much. This is basically the 4 types of questions that will be asked in your exam. Okay, so what kind of question can they ask in exam? For example, they can give you a food pyramid. So you need to know that carbohydrates is at the lowest base. Okay, your vitamin, your fruits and vegetables is at the second layer. Your milk, meat is on the third layer, and then your fats is on your highest level. Okay, so this is something that you must know. Okay, this is something that you must know as a student. Okay, another way they ask you is a menu. They give you a menu. So they give a menu. Sometimes they can give you some energy. So you need to calculate. Definitely, I can tell you almost 100% of the menu is a non-balanced diet. If it's a balanced diet, they won't give you. Right now, have you seen the menu question come up in your exam before? As an essay, for example, they give you a menu. You know, and then they tell you they eat what. Okay, then eventually they ask you to comment on it. So they say wajarkan is the GZ diet. Okay, sesuai untuk person tu. So normally I tell you 100% is abnormal one. So what's the abnormality? Look at this chart. Okay, this is my color block for understanding this. Now carbohydrates in your syllabus. Okay, there are 2 types of questions they can ask. One type is when they ask you to suggest a food. When they ask you to suggest a food, then normally you must have carbohydrate inside. Okay, that means if you look at later I'll show you pinggan sehat Malaysia. Suku separuh. Inside you also have carbohydrates. So you must know the function of carbohydrates. Carbohydrate you must have it in your diet. What's the function of carbohydrates? Is to generate energy. So that's a key point, isn't it? Tapi kalau dia sudah jadi berlebihan ataupun excessive, you have one problem. Tell me guys. If your carbohydrates is too much, what will happen? What are you going to write? Obesity, good. 1, obesity. 2 things you must remember. Obesity dengan diabetes. Sebab carbohydrates adalah gula. So if you have too much of it, you boleh dapat kencing manis, ada diabetes mellitus or obesity. Are you clear? But when you talk about pinggan sehat Malaysia, it's never berlebihan. That's why it's the suku. Suku separuh, one of the suku is carbohydrates. You need it because you need to generate energy. Tapi hanya dalam sesuku. But if let's say you see the menu, the person is taking, let's say, rice, okay, then got fried noodles, then after that got fried chicken, then got bread, then you have to comment the menu. You see this. Then you say the menu has excessive carbohydrates. So you tell the class of food. Then you say the example is evidenced by the presence of fried rice, noodles, whatever. So the example of the food that you see in the menu. Then you back it up. Okay, so you say carbohydrate is important to generate energy. However, excessive can cause diabetes, obesity. So one class of nutrients I successfully analyzed. Are you clear? Wait, you know what I'm talking about or not? Are you clear? Okay. So same like protein. Protein, you must know protein has its own function. Please refer to our assimilation study. It can be used to repair damaged tissues, generate new cells. But when it's excessive, 2 things happen. Satu, gout. Maksudnya dia sudah jadi stones. Can deposit in your kidneys, okay, or your legs, causing pain, or kidney failure. This is something they like to put in your exam. Okay, kidney failure, kegagalan ginjal. But this is not really true lah. But exam answer scheme, I see a few, they will write this. Okay, lipid is definitely the most common one they ask in exam because it's a very bad stuff. So everyone talk about it. So lipid, if it's too much, by the way, this is too less when the protein is too less, you get kwashiorkor. But this one seldom appear. Normally in Malaysia, we are considered as quite a good country. So majority of the problems will be excessive. Okay, so for lipid, you must remember if it's excessive, then you get obesity. Alright, as usual, common. Another thing is atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis maksudnya your blood vessel jadi narrow. is a narrowing of your blood vessel. So your blood vessel jadi sempit. So if this thing happens in the brain, dia boleh menyebabkan stroke. If this thing happens in the heart, it can cause myocardial infarction ataupun serangan jantung or heart attack. Generally, when you reduce the area, you will increase the pressure. So you can get hypertension or hypertension. All these, we can call them as cardiovascular disease. In bahasa Melayu, penyakit cardiovascular. Atherosclerosis is cause of plaque, you are right. We talk about that more in chapter 10. Are you okay? Okay? So, when you're given a menu, you must see very carefully inside the fiber or not. Because normally there's no fiber one. Or it's like lipid, carbohydrate food, no fiber. So you need to comment on fiber. If you see there is no fiber, you have to say there's no fiber. This one you have to be careful. It will normally be deficiency. Ataupun kekurangan. You get problems of constipation ataupun sembelit. Okay? So how can this happen? Normally it's because, why constipation happen? The function of the fiber is to form a bulk to stimulate peristalsis. So kalau you kekurangan fiber, you will have reduced peristalsis, which means your food will move very slow. Your food will move very slow, which means you will have more water absorption. Penyerapan air, which means your feces will become more hard and dry. So it will be difficult to shit lah. Okay? Hard and dry. In your syllabus, you do not need to analyze the vitamins and minerals one by one. No need. The keyword I see almost in all the answer scheme is this: for maintaining good health ataupun untuk mengekalkan kesihatan baik. Stop. This one, normally we use it for the recommendation of diet. Okay, I repeat. Okay, I repeat. I clear this up. I repeat. In balanced diet, you will see 3 types of questions. 3 jenis soalan. Soalan jenis pertama is food pyramid. Okay, this one already very seldom come out. I macam tak pernah tengok lagi. So food pyramid is not really important. Tapi kalau dia tanya pun, you must know carbohydrate is at the base, your fruits and vegetables is second layer, protein, and then your lipid is on top. So that's a food pyramid. Number 2, which is also quite common now, lately, is menu. So when you talk about menu, most of the time it's not balanced. And when it's not balanced, it's either too much carb, too much protein, too much lipid, ataupun too less fiber. The third type is diet recommendation. Maksudnya, they will tell you this person got a disease. Let's say kencing manis, diabetes. Suggest a menu for the person. Then at the time, you need to suggest them fruits and vegetables. Then this is your backup point. Because you say in the fruits and vegetables got vitamins and minerals which can help to maintain good health. Maksudnya, you tak perlu scrutinize what are the minerals or vitamins inside. One by one. Vitamin C is for this, no need tak payah. Just one general sentence macam ni. Cukup. Okay? That's why I say, you want to know how to use all the formula, all the weapon I give you, you need to do my exercise. You just listen to what I say, you might not be able to do it yourself. You need to do my exercises. I give you a lot of exercises. You do my exercises, you really can score in exam. So if you cannot score in your exam, who's the problem? Who's the problem? If you cannot score in your exam, who's the problem? No, I'm not trying to blame you, okay? I'm not trying to blame you. But, okay, you must understand, okay, that you have a full responsibility in your own study. Alright, I've already given you everything already for biology. Okay, so menu recommendation. Here I got one DSA plus your logic. Because I've seen so many types of questions come up for menu recommendation. I've seen diabetes mellitus come up before. I've seen people with lymphoma, even cancer come up before. I've seen people talk about menu recommendation for teenagers, for pregnant lady. So many different types of questions. The most safest answer is still pinggan sehat Malaysia, which is your suku-suku separuh. Maksudnya in bahasa Melayu, in bahasa English, it's called quarter half. Quarter half. So 1 quarter is protein. So I say, after you say the class of food, you must tell the food that support it. Like for example, meat, eggs, fish. You must tell something to support it. Then you talk about your carbohydrates. Okay, your carbohydrates. Example, noodles, rice, bread, whatever. Okay, then your fruits and vegetables. Then you must tell the function why you need this, you need this. So in menu recommendation, you don't have to talk about excessive or deficiency because you are recommending the menu. Takkan you go and tell me excessive. So you just use 0.123 just now. So for example, sometimes the question might seem very difficult. You feel like, oh my God, you're going to die already. For example, for a cancer patient. Okay, so how would you like to suggest the menu? So maybe you can say, I will suggest the patient to take more protein. More protein. Example, fish, eggs, milk. Why? Because the protein can help to build new cells, repair damaged cells for the patient, which is something needed for cancer. Then you say, I will also suggest the cancer patient to take more carbohydrates. For example, rice, so that the patient can generate enough energy for the healing process, for example. Then I will suggest the patient to take in fruits and vegetables, which contain minerals and vitamins to maintain the good health of the patient. So this will give you 5-6 marks to full mark the question, your essay. I don't care what they ask you, pregnant lady lah, pregnant father lah, same. But I need to highlight to you, Pinggan Sehat Malaysia is initially designed for obesity patients dengan patients yang ada diabetes. Tapi generally, you write it, nobody will say that you're wrong. You know what I'm saying, guys? Are you clear or not clear? You will see different type of question, But the way to answer follow my algorithm. Class of food, example of food, the reason of taking the food. Then you talk about field 1. That is how you score in your exam. Okay? So next one, this question also came up before in exam many times. Okay, so first of all, you need to understand gastric bypass ataupun pintasan gaster. So what kind of question they will ask you is number one, why you want to do this operation? Basically, is for weight loss, and this is a treatment for obesity. Obesity with treatment, you can talk about gastric bypass ataupun pintasan gaster. So why? It's because of weight loss. How? How is because you are reducing the stomach size. You can see from this picture very clearly. When you do gastric bypass, your stomach become very small, like this only. Okay, so that's why you will reduce your appetite. So you kurang makan, when you kurang makan, your body weight will come down definitely. So you need to know this. This is quite important exam question. The short-term side effect with the long-term side effect. So short-term side effect is mostly dealing with maybe infection. Every operation has got a risk of infection, bleeding, okay? Acid reflux, because the stomach becomes lesser, when produce acid can come out easily, okay? And then your tummy also, you can get vomit easily because the stomach becomes less. So when you contract, you can get all the vomiting out. So the short term. Long term is mostly due to absorption problem. So you might get lesser nutrients, you might get low sugar in the body, or you can get ulcer. Ulcer need time to develop, okay? Because when you have a lot of acid, so you see a short term you get acid reflux. But if the acid is too much, it can cause erosion. Yang itu kita panggil sebagai gastric ulcer. Gastric ulcer is one level more serious than gastritis. Gastritis is only the surface. Ulcer, they will go inside already. So that's why when you see gastric ulcer, it's a long-term side effect. Dia kena ambil masa untuk develop. Reflux, infection, vomiting is short-term. Okay? So last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about eating habit disorders. Okay, eating habit disorders. So in your syllabus got two. Both of these are psychiatry diseases. Actually, one is gastritis, just I mentioned already in the gastric gland, so I don't mention again. So the first one is actually our anorexia nervosa. So anorexia nervosa, basically the person has a perception that they are very fat. So that's why they deprive themselves of taking food, and as a result, they're very low calories, they're very, very thin, you know. So that's anorexia nervosa. They are afraid to eat, nervous, afraid to eat, because they're scared that they become fat. Okay? The second one, sir, would you suggest an obese person to do gastric bypass? Gastric bypass has very strict criteria. In Malaysia, it's called bariatric surgery. You don't do bariatric surgery only to treat obesity. You are actually treating obesity with complications. For example, if the patient has got obesity with very bad knee pains, osteoarthritis, that's an indication to do gastric bypass. Or nowadays we don't do gastric bypass because it's bariatric surgery. There are a lot of bariatric surgery. We don't do bypass. Bypass is too much. This is 20 years ago. Maybe we can do this. Now we got a lot of new things, sleeve gastrectomy, things like that. Okay, that can be done. So the indication is you must be fat plus some complication, like for example, diabetes, very badly controlled, high blood pressure, cholesterol. You have some heart problems, or let's say you have some knee joint problems, very bad sleep apnea. Then you can do, not just to lose weight. You must have something to come with the obesity, because you must understand obesity is not just about appearance. It can affect everything in the body. All right. So the second disease is called bulimia. How I remember is you are basically bullying yourself. So after you makan, you are inducing vomiting so that you don't actually gain weight. So both of these are psychiatry disorder, which the person actually has a wrong perception of themselves being very fat. So they actually have ways to try to deprive themselves from food. Which one is more dangerous? Anorexia nervosa, bulimia, which one is more dangerous? You all know? Bulimia. Anorexia nervosa is a psychiatry and medical emergency. It's emergency. This one is not. This one, how do you differentiate these two? How do you differentiate anorexia nervosa with bulimia in real hospital setting? Do you know? How to differentiate these two? Very easy. How to differentiate? Some people say anorexia, they won't purge themselves. No, not really. Anorexia nervosa, sometimes you give them makan, they also can purge themselves. So how you want to differentiate these two? Is the BMI. Yes, you're right, Sinwei. Anorexia nervosa is always underweight. You cannot define a person as anorexia nervosa if the BMI is normal. Bulimia, their BMI is always normal. Okay? Alright? So any questions you guys want to ask me? So do you guys enjoy the lesson? Is everything okay? Do you feel better? The understanding of the conception of this chapter 9? I covered everything. I think 95% I covered. Is everything okay? Alright? So I hope you enjoy the lesson, okay, as well as I do. So I have my final specialist paper coming on this Saturday. Okay, that means 2 days later. That's fine. Okay, so I have an exam that's very important, but I still do my responsibilities in it. So I hope that you all also, can have the same. I'm not doing in Kelantan, I'm doing in Ampang. Okay, I'm doing in Ampang, Hospital Ampang. So yeah, okay, your prayers mean a lot to me. So thank you so much, guys. I will see you guys again next week. That's really after my exam. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I'll see you guys again. Bye-bye. Thank you.